Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, petrol heads, and 9-hour fans. We come to you from, I suppose it is the sub-Saharan headquarters of an oil company. They keep metal apart, they make things slip and slide. Thank you, Motul, for letting us here. It's almost a perfect circle, because from 1970-something to 2019, the 9-hour is coming up. It is, I know where these two guys are going to be in 36 days, 16 hours, 44 minutes and 22 seconds. We'll come to you now, Advocate. I know what you're going to do. It's now 15 seconds. You've just started the race.
Just started the race.
In
15 seconds.
36 days, blah, 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 blah. 36 days time. Exciting time.
It is exciting though, yes.
Do you feel like a kid at Christmas yet?
It's coming. It's a bit of a long wait for us still, but we're getting there. It is exciting.
Team Perfect Circle, Andre, Advocate, is your dream. It's the starting point that fired your love of motorsport. Just share that little glimpse. A boy from the farm came to the 9-hour.
You know, when I drove in today here to Kyalami Park, and we stopped here at the Motul offices overlooking this wonderful circuit. Kyalami has got a place in the heart of all motorsport fans in South Africa. My love for motorsport started here, and it's interesting that we're having this interview here right next to the track. I'm not exactly sure, you know, where Crowthorne would have been. I've got a feeling it's very much close to us here. So if I have to say where it was, maybe within 50 or 100 meters from here was the kink. And that's where it all started for me. So it's fantastic being here, and 36 days, as you say, it feels unreal. But we're really looking forward to it.
I think any sensible motorsport fan is looking forward to this. Franco, you drive a Porsche in G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. You drive a wicked monster up hill climbs. Your thoughts on a proper GT3 car at Kyalami?
Look, it's going to be great, and I'm especially grateful that it's a Porsche, because the last sort of 3 years for me personally have been quite a learning experience for me and the guys that work with me, and obviously Simpson Motorsport as well, because they are Porsche guys. That we've gained a lot of experience in it. So if there was a mark that I would choose off the top of my head, it would have to be Porsche straight out. I think that in itself gives us an advantage.
Now this car comes, you mentioned Simpson Motorsport. Andre, you guys did a deal to get the car here, and then hunted around. Talk to us about the parts and where they come from, because there may just be a piece of carbon fiber that doesn't survive.
Well, that's very true. In motorsport, you always rub a little bit of doors. We were lucky that the car was rebuilt for the 2015 race series in the United Kingdom. The car was the GT Championship car of the previous year. And the owners of the car then decided not to compete it in 2015. So the car was absolutely brand new, rebuilt with a new shell from Porsche Motorsport. And when we identified a suitable car, this car just stood out. You know, it had a wonderful Scottish impression, with a wonderful impression before of the Scottish teams. It was raced by Fiskin Motorsport. So the car had a long history, and people know this car so well. And when we talk about Team Perfect Circle, I mean, certainly we're not a professional bunch here. But if you look at the livery that we've put onto the car and trying to resemble what we're trying to achieve here, this is the best that we can do in the circumstances, and we think the car's going to be very good. Franco and myself and Silvio had the opportunity of driving it at Silverstone. And I must tell you, Franco got out of the car, he says, this bloody thing is brand new. And it's true. The car, you know, is a little bit outdated. We're competing against new 991s. But an era car from 5 years old at the moment, it was last race in 2014, I think it's as good as it can get. And we're going to have a go at it.
The thing with GT3 is, with the BOP, balance of performance, in theory, as long as the cars are registered, they should all be relatively competitive. So I think that's one of the really cool parts about the whole GT3 racing and the way that SRO has put it together. But it will always be on Thursday when the official times start clocking up. That's when all the Gary, I nearly said bullshit. That's when all that stops and real times come out.
Yeah, look, Franco and myself had a chat. I think every morning now we phone each other and we speak to Dino and Silvio, and we just share the anticipation amongst us. And in one of my comments to them, I said, chaps, we're in for one hell of a baptism. If you've watched what happened at Suzuka and happened at Barcelona recently, and you see how these cars race 3-4 abreast, I think at the end of that first day, you know, we're going to have our hands on our hearts. We're looking forward to it, but it's going to be bloody tough.
You've gone through, we haven't forgotten about you. I mean, that hairstyle is just, it is absolutely. And you know, the fun part is, I may have bred some lawyers in my family, and they have a way of questioning and answering. And this oak is the most interesting person to ever interview. And it's kind of going back to the advocate. It's very interesting. We've got have you already put in your request for balance of performance and so that they understand exactly after the Suzuka race? Because your sister car did quite well in Suzuka.
Yeah, we understand that a 997 competed there, and we're very happy with what the indication is of what balance of performance we're going to get. So, you know, it's at the end of the day, I mean, what do we expect to do here? Do we expect to win? Everybody asks us now, are you going to win with all of this effort? Most certainly we're going to try our best. And if we win our class, and we can be first of the South Africans, and we can surprise a lot of the overseas visitors, we are here to make an impression, and for all our supporters and the corporate supporters in the Motul, you know, to put some silverware on the table next to this beautiful helmet, I mean, that'll be an honor for us.
Have you done a deal with Mercer yet, where if you win your class, there's a bit of a bonus? I would have done that.
The carrot at the end of the stick. We're going to talk about that after this interview.
I would suggest that that kind of thing, win the class, a class win would be euros, not rands.
Yeah, euros, dollars, we're not fussy.
Okay, let's talk about Porkers, because my favorite Porsche ever was the pink 9 or the RSR that from a couple of years back. Explain to us the difference between a current 911 and a 997 that you guys are going to be driving.
Look, when it gets to that sort of level of technicality on Porsches, I think Andre should rather be answering that question, because I don't know the big difference between the two cars. Honestly, I don't.
They are both Hitlerwagens, yeah?
You see, you said before, it's when you ask the right questions that you get the wrong answers. So I'm going to have a go at it. In the International GT series where we're competing in the GT3 class. And the best car that we could find is a 911R. But the model is a 997 car. So Porsche's moved on, you know, tremendously. And you look at the new cars, the one that you're referring to is the car that actually won Le Mans last year, which was the recreation, the so-called Pink Pig of the 917, that very famous livery car. And I was lucky enough to be at Le Mans last year when it actually won. So this car comes from the 997 era. It's now been updated to 991, which means that the car is just so much better again, as Porsche always does. But we're comfortable that the car is as good as what it can be prepared, because, as you know, Colin, it's all in the preparation. Sometimes you buy something off the shelf and it doesn't work, and that's motorsport. When you go racing, even...
Andre, hold on. If you buy a Porsche, a racing car, it works. I mean, that's just... There's another GT3 that's also a brand new Porsche that's coming. So, bottom line
who's racing that?
Saul Hack, we are told.
And who's racing with Saul, do you know?
It's that famous driver, probably the most busy driver in the history of the world, Andrew Neville Other, A-N-Other, that guy. Another.
Mr. Another.
So it's a Porsche. It's got an engine in the back, it's got a steering wheel, and it's got BOP. How close, the car that you race in G&H supercars, What's what do you expect? What are the differences between the two mainly?
Look, you know, the car that I race in this country is, you know, in South Africa we race to, let's call it no rules. So it's just huge horsepower. And it's a handful, and it's very tiring. And I actually picked up a few ideas from that car when I was at Silverstone on the easiness of the drive, and I've actually incorporated them for the 9th at Swartkops. So I'll be very interested to see at how much easier this car now is to drive. But I was extremely impressed. You know, I've driven Cavalieri's 458s in his GT3 cars and raced them in South Africa. Yeah. So I've got a bit of experience with these GT3 cars, and I was really pleasantly surprised how I felt I could just drive that car at full pace hour after hour if I had to, because of the easiness of the drive. The car
Some say, you know, there was that picture of Charles Leclerc going through 130R, holding his mirror on, driving through one hand. And I think it was Martin Brundle said that if you can go through any corner one hand, you aren't going fast enough. So if it's easy, are you going fast enough?
Yes, we will be going fast enough.
I just have to ask.
No, the car permits you to go fast enough while being relaxed about it, because it's just, and the car's so balanced, you can feel it's an endurance car. It's going to last on its tires, and let's hope we're reliable. And then I think we'll be a long way there.
Like all good Italian families, there's a big family connection here. There's you, Franco, there's Aldo, who's the other driver, and Dino, baby Dino.
Not Aldo, Aldo's the brother of
I mean,
Silvio,
who's the driver, and sorry, Silvio. I mean, I get you guys confused. All you Italians look the same. There's so many Scribantes. How do you tell them apart? I mean, one, Joburg, PE, Tar.
I mean, I got a request the other day to say, can you please change your name? Can we make it Andrea? So I said, look, it's up to them. If I have to speak Italian with them, then so be it. But it's Franco, Silvio, and Dino.
And Dino's the reserve driver just in case something happens to the rest of you.
Yes, if something had to befall us before the event, then he would be there to take over, because, you know, you've got to trust somewhere that you got to choose somewhere that you can trust. And, you know, I've known of his capabilities for years, and yeah, I would trust him wholeheartedly.
Now, the question. How the hell did you get Coca-Cola onto the car with their approval?
Well, you know, they're a fantastic company.
Are you saying that just because they've joined you, or because they sell sugary drinks that we love with a little bit of Captain Morgan?
Look, they now also make a little energy drink, which is fantastic. But what they did is we approached them and we said, this is the story about Team Perfect Circle. And it's a compelling story. So David Piper goes to them in 1969. They go on board as a sponsor, but then Piper's car breaks down 3 times in the week beforehand. So all the sponsors spoke amongst themselves and they all withdraw. Piper then gets in his normal road car. He drives to at that point in time, the distributor, and he says, I'll keep, the car's already liveried. I'll keep it on. You don't have to pay me anything. But if we win, will you please then? And they all said, okay, if you don't make it, there's nothing in it. So Piper went and he won the race, and only after the race, he, as a good businessman, he went back to them and he said, can you please now? And they were all gracious enough. So we reminded Coca-Cola of what they did in '69. I told them my story about making this dream real after 50 years. They're a monstrous international company. They've just sponsored the Porsche factory team in America, and they won that series.
Well, they won the series, and they also won at Petit Le Mans this past weekend.
Absolutely. And when we showed them what we're doing, they were compelled to say, we're happy to come along with this. We throw their support in. And I mean, we were just blown away that Coca-Cola is getting involved with a crowd of amateurs like us. So thank you.
But you guys aren't really a crowd of amateurs. You are known for very high standards then in terms of driving, preparation, and other stuff. So who's driving first, and what's the race plan? Or is that a little bit early to talk about?
There's no secret in that. So I was the one that raised my hand when we heard that Toby Venter and Stefan Rattel has put this world event together, and we must thank them for the work that they've done. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be sitting here. So to Stefan Rattel, the SRO, and Toby Venter of Porsche South Africa, thank you very much. Wonderful. What we did is I just said, Franco's known as a fantastic driver. He can compete at the hill climbs. You know, when the first thing goes off, he's on the pace. It doesn't take moments. So Franco is going to start for us. Silvio is going to go second, and I'm going to go third, which means that all things being equal, if we're there by between 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on that Saturday evening, with my hand on my heart, I hope to finish the race for the team.
That would be quite a privilege to bring Coke and the Porker across the line.
It'll be one hell of a privilege.
Now, what's the goal apart from finishing?
Look, you know, for me, how I see this thing is, first of all, we'd like to be the first South African team home. We'd like to be the first amateur team home. And, you know, what's a professional, what's an amateur? In the days of David Piper, a professional was a gentleman driver who took it more seriously than the gentleman driver who didn't take it as seriously. Fantastic. So I would call us gentleman drivers of those days. We all take it extremely seriously, but we have other jobs. So,
and just in terms of seriousness, you started your fitness regime because you must have lost about 65 kilograms already just with a haircut. You've got a proper fitness regime going?
Yeah, I do a lot of exercise, mountain biking, gymming, all sorts of stuff. So I'll be ready for this.
And Andre, apart from the exercise, mental exercise you get in the courtroom, you've got a proper program?
You know, in the last few weeks, I was fortunate enough to be in Europe, and I did a drive 1,600 kilometers from Geneva, road driving, from Geneva to Sicily. And that 1,600 kilometers took me just touching on 17 hours. And I did it with 4 stops. And the family was asking, and people are asking, why did you do this? And I just did the same in Japan. It's about driving for hours on end and concentrating. So we're all having our own little regime. We don't race enough in South Africa, you know, to compete with the international guys. But we're all doing our own little thing. We've been competing for 30-odd years. And we will be ready when you tick that box and you say 36 days from now, we'll be ready for that event.
We've got to check out, it's 36 days, 15 hours, 27 minutes. Now, one of the other things in terms of throwbacks are stickers for racing cars. Back in the day, you used to get all sorts of stickers, and they were very, very cool. So the Motul marketing team who are sitting at the back here, and if we don't say certain things, then they've got sticks and they're going to beat us to death with it. They've kindly offered to give away some of these sticker packs. I think they're very, very cool. So, Henk, can you check that out? Now, if you would like a sticker pack, you've got to work for it. And we don't know how, we haven't quite worked out why, but what I think you need to do is to go into the comments and put a special story. And the story can be how you use Motul in your lawnmower or your chainsaw. You know, if you're a mass murderer and you use a chainsaw, what's a chainsaw massacre? If you've got a Motul in your chainsaw or in your racing car, find a story. Tell us in less than 65 words why you are a deserving recipient of that. It might be that you have a granddaughter who's nearly 3 years old, who's emigrating to Canada on the 12th of December, and you'd like her to take a little sticker to remind her of a fat-ass grandpa who's staying behind who can't go with her. That would be my story. But we want to hear your stories, why you need a Motul sticker. Guys, I can sit and talk for days. I can talk longer than you. And I think,
no doubt.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. Andre, thank you for the effort that you've put in, first of all, as a fan, and of making this stuff happen, and for including the El Familia, because I think that it's going to be really, really cool racing.
I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. The enthusiasm, you know, the support that we have received from overseas. I mean, the story is just a compelling story. And the weight that people have thrown in, I don't know whether you've seen and you've carefully looked at the poster which Tom Wheatley has produced for us together with Paul Giddon.
So hold on. What we'll do with this poster is we'll check out this poster. Oh, hold on. We've got a better copy. We've got a virtual poster. And or just on the poster, if you'd like to win this poster, a copy of this poster, write a story. We'll have signed by the Scribante family and His Royal Highness Andre Bezuidenhout, Advocate Bezuidenhout. So, thank you, Andre.
You're very welcome. So what I was saying about the posters, Tom Wheatley lives in France, and he's got this amazing ability. He took a little 917 model, together with Paul Giddon, who's a friend of ours overseas, and they have designed that little model and matched it with our real car, with the background of the Kyalami promotion photographs. And just look at the amazing creation which they've come up with, and it's circulating everywhere in the world.
But I thought it was real. Franco, thank you very much for chatting. Thanks for the questions. I see you are taking this seriously, because the party places around Joburg and Vereniging are dead at the moment, because you've given up the party side and focusing hard on the race, and good luck.
Yeah, we are. Clean life now, and a lot of exercise, and just concentrating on getting as far ahead as we can in this race.
There you go.
Sorry, 2 comments online. Donnie van den Berg says, bottom line is South African teams are going to make us proud. Here, gas. And then on top of it, he says, do I have to lie about the poster to win an autographed issue?
Of course, he has. You got to fight. You got to. If you want to win, effort. You get nothing for free. Well, except if, but you get nothing for free. You got to put a bit of effort in and engage the brain. Also, if you haven't got your tickets or you haven't got plans to get to Kyalami, I don't know what's wrong with you, but within the next couple of days, get it sorted out, because it is going to be monumental. It is absolutely fantastic. To Andre Bezuidenhout, Franco Scribante, and the production crew, and Motul, all the crowd out there, thank you very much for hosting us at your offices. Be fast, be safe, and have fun, and join us again tomorrow on raceday.tv for an episode of Waved Yellow. 101 episode. On that note,
Well done.
on that note, check out the thunderstorms coming in Joburg. Be good. Cheers.